Yeah. Hi. Hi. Welcome. This is episode 6 of Role Playing Public Radio. This is Ross Payton, of course. This is The Bad Player, a roundtable discussion. With me, of course, is Tom Church.
And just so you know, we only have 2 mics and 4 people today, so we'll be switching mics on and off.
Yeah, my name is Cody Walker, Cody Wilt Chamberlain Walker.
Uh-huh.
And my name is Sam Harrel.
Anyways, there are players who have been in the group for the last couple of months, I think since the summer at least. I can't remember exactly when you guys joined up with us, but this is... in between games, we've been talking about, our own gaming anecdotes, gaming stories. And Cody and Sam have talked about one player in particular that's touched their hearts in a very special way. And we thought we'd make the episode about this very, very special player. We'll just call her Jessica because that's her first name, but we don't need to know her last name.
I don't know if we could get her address or phone number provided, but we'll see if we can't do that.
Nah, she probably wouldn't even listen to this, so it won't matter one way or another.
That apathy really works. Anyways,
I mean, no offense. I'm just saying she doesn't know how to run a computer. So,
All right. So, Jessica, from the stories we've heard, is Jessica's a very, very bad player, and this whole thing about bad players are something every player and game master has to deal with sooner or later. So we're just going to use Jessica as sort of an example, a whipping horse, a whipping boy for this little episode. So why don't you first tell us a little bit about Jessica? Just tell our viewers, listeners, what they need to know about Jessica.
I first started playing role-playing games with her back in high school. I was DMing like an early D&D game. Like we really
second edition or third edition?
Third edition.
Third ed, all right.
Yeah, we didn't really know. I was really going flying by the seat of my pants. None of us knew what we were doing, and but I really tried to grasp early on. Of course, like stuff about alignment, and I tried to hit home that how your character would be played because it's role playing, for the love of Christ. Well, yeah. I can swear on this, right? And I just want to make sure.
Oh yeah,
Okay, good.
We swear all the goddamn
okay,
time.
let's make sure.
In fact, I'll say it again, motherfucker.
Okay. Right. So anyway,
motherfucker.
So she decided that she wanted to be a paladin, and
that's a good sign.
Right.
Somewhat limiting in alignment, but okay.
Right. So she started off as a paladin because fuck knows why. And the thing is that she would be put into situations where a paladin would absolutely go out and like do the right thing, but she would always try and justify not doing it. I wasn't DMing this round. We had a round where we had this guy who works or used to work at Go Games to Order, something like that. His name is Bryant. Really great DM, really great guy, super nice and cool. And he came up with we were being sieged by all these undead and shit like that. And it was really amazing round, really really cool. And we had a half orc. She runs out into the crowd battling all because she's enraged and shit. And she goes around. She's killing all these undead.
Jessica.
No. This is our half orc. She was different. Okay. But she's out there and killing all this stuff. And she's gonna get overwhelmed. She's gonna get murdered. So
Custer's last stand, basically.
Right. And Jessica's character was the only one that actually saw that was going to happen. So Bryant tells her, he goes, well, what do you do? And she goes, well, I'm going to keep running into the city. I don't give a shit about her.
And this is like a comrade in arms, not just...
Right. It's someone that she knew. It was another one of our players. It's actually Bryant's wife. It's actually Bryant's wife who's playing the character.
Wow.
And we tried to tell, and he says to her, he goes, well, you understand that, you're basically, you're the cop of the universe, you're a paladin, you have to do the right thing. And she goes, well, I know that it would be futile for me to go back out there, so I'm just trying to save myself so I can deal with it, so I can go and, kill more stuff later on and save more people. So we're like, okay, so you're going to be a coward so that you can save more people later on, That was the first hint that I could tell that things, that things were going to be bad. She would just do stuff where she would try to justify all of her actions, but it wasn't until a lot later that I realized that she's fucking abysmal and a horrible person to play with. Is that a couple years later, I decided to start running another D&D like 3.0
Right.
round, and I based it all in the He-Man universe. And it's it was
Hardcore.
Yeah, it was like fan fiction, and it was like I did a lot of
As long
research.
as Harry Potter didn't show up to have gay sex with He-Man.
No.
I mean, it couldn't be that bad.
No.
Yeah,
Well, technically, if the gay sex did happen with He-Man, like I wouldn't be surprised by it. But but like I mean, I did a lot of research for this, which is really really nerdy, and it made me feel like I know a lot more about
Well, you're admitting
He-Man.
into the world now.
Right. Oh yeah. But see, it's like the He-Man folklore is so great. I digress. Is that
That's a whole other episode.
Right. Her like what had happened is the story is that Evil Lynn had taken over everything. Skeletor's dead and all this shit, and everyone's playing an evil character. Everyone plays evil characters because I'm like, okay, she can't, except for Sam. Sam played a neutral bard. Which
Sam just can't be a team player.
no.
Can't be evil.
But the thing is that I decided I was like I'm not gonna have anybody be pallies anymore because obviously Jessica can't play a fucking good character save her life. So I was like, well, I'm gonna make them evil because then they can have a little bit of fun. Another huge mistake because another horrible player in this situation is Jared. Jared was the typical emo bastard where everything was like always melodramatic and life is horrible and stuff.
Let me just ask one question about this, Jared. Did he play orphans who were lone wanderers looking for revenge against those who had killed their master or family or something like that, or didn't have a backstory and couldn't connect to people because that would be weak?
Yeah, that's actually exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
almost exactly.
Yeah, almost.
Almost.
He never had a family. And then this was his stroke of genius. He was like, listen, I think it'd be cool if my character was like colorblind.
Now, really, I'd like to hear this. How is being colorblind good roleplay?
No, well, he wanted to add depth to his character because I said to him, I was like, give me something I can work with and stuff. He's like, all right, my character's colorblind and he's an assassin. So then he kills people. When he kills them, he cuts off their ears because they never hear him coming. It's like, dude, you're a fag. Like, you're horrible. But anyway, he was bad, but he's not as bad as Jessica.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that okay? Jessica's an evil character. Everyone's evil. Okay, she decides that they go into this town and they're like raping and pillaging and killing all this shit, and she decides that she doesn't want them to kill. She's like, no, don't kill this person. Like, you're fucking evil. Fucking kill him. And the thing is that I realized that how she plays is that whatever her character's supposed to be, she doesn't want to be that.
Really?
So she doesn't want to role play. She doesn't understand the concept of being like set in your character. She doesn't understand how to role play. Okay.
Right.
She thinks that she has to constantly rebel against who her character is, and she doesn't do it in this like nuanced, like kind of
Torture
cool way.
character,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. She just does it because she's a fucking bitch and she doesn't want to play correctly. So.
Does she play all her characters like herself, essentially doing like what would Jessica do in this situation? Not
Yes.
Yeah.
the Paladin.
Every single character is her.
Yeah.
Every single one. Like, I have never seen her play a character that isn't her. Every single choice she makes is what she would do.
Because that sounds right, because she sounds, like she's a coward when she's a paladin, but she's not bloodthirsty when she's evil.
Yeah.
So it sounds like she's this neutral, kind of cowardly, pragmatist, opportunist, basically.
Boring.
Yeah.
Well, she always thought that the game had to be about her. She always wanted the story to be like where she was like this
Drama queen.
Yeah, she wanted to be like the deity of everything and stuff. So I gave her what she wanted in this instance because I've known her for a long time. Like, we grew up together, and I was kind of seeing her as She-Ra like when we were kids. Like, we play He-Man as She-Ra, and she was She-Ra. And she's like tall and she's got blonde hair and stuff like that. So I mean, she kind of looks like her anyway. And a big butt. She-Ra's got a big old butt.
She got junk in the trunk.
No, she
Is that what
does.
you say?
I watched the Christmas special last night, and it really affirmed that, and also the incestual nature of He-Man. It was kind of
He-Man don't want none.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that.
He-Man don't want none unless she got buns.
It's true. It's true.
The other difficult thing about playing it with Jared and Jessica is every time you try to set up any kind of plot point with either of them, they'll set it on fire. Like there's one time we were
Like
playing that
literally
game.
or metaphorically?
No, literally. Like there's one time like Cody had set up this specific plot point. It was like, you come upon this tree and there's eggs in this tree. What are you gonna do? Jared was like, set them on fire. Oh, okay. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm gonna set them on fire. I don't think you would. I'm setting them on fire.
Okay.
Okay.
The two things about that is that the eggs were going to be like this long-term story plot point where eventually like the eggs hatched. Yeah, well, the eggs would hatch and there'd be like these giant angels that go and like battle. And they're Stratos' race from He-Man. But anyway,
adding some Final Fantasy things.
Right.
Like.
But to be fair to Jared, he did have 2 bottles of wine that night. He decided to get wasted, and this was classic too.
Sign.
At the end, like there's like this huge like undead king. He summons all of these like undead creatures and stuff. He's total badass, like level 40,000 sorcerer, fucking badass as hell. And then everyone goes, okay, we're gonna leave, we're gonna walk away because the guy like let them leave. And then Jared stops and I go, what are you gonna do? And he goes, no, I'm not gonna do it. And I go, well, what were you gonna do? He goes, I was gonna fucking shoot an arrow through his fucking head. It's like, he's a level 40,000 sorcerer, you fucking douchebag. Just walk away. It's like, I'm drunk. Yeah, we get that. The great thing, though,
Sounds like a very metal person.
Well, yeah, no, he's a fucking theater douchebag. Like, he's nothing. But, like, here's the thing, is that Jessica and Jared were always at odds, like, because the two of them have these, like, terrible type A personalities and stuff. They're always at odds. And I finally worked it around. It was just so, like, cool and organic how this had worked, is eventually they all get captured, and then they get thrown into, like, this fucking arena, and the two of them are going to fight it out. And I was like, fucking A. I was like, the next battle's going to be sweet. And then Jessica says to me at the end of the round, because, like, we're like, okay, next time you guys are going to battle it out. She takes me aside and she goes, do I really have to fight him? Because, I mean, I don't know. Should I really have to fight him? I'm like, it's a fucking game. It's role-playing. Yeah. Why don't you go and do it? So she decides, after all this time of fucking threatening his life and going to kill him and stuff, they get there in the ring and they're going to battle it out. She decides, we should work together. We need to work on the same team.
Wow.
And he goes, okay, sure. So they both work on the same team for no reason whatsoever. Completely ruined the story.
Very passive-aggressive.
So, I mean, they're horrible. But, like, the moment that got me, my favorite moment of all, of at least that, until we got to, until we started playing Mutants and Masterminds, my favorite moment of the D&D round was they're like, sieging this like castle and stuff like that, and
this is still the He-Man game.
Yeah, this is still a He-Man game. They're sieging this castle, and they're in this like lush like jungle, and all these soldiers are pouring out of there. And Jessica decides that she wants to she wants to kill one, or grab one, take him aside, kill him, and then put on his clothes and use her disguise kit, because that fucking bitch loves her disguise kit.
She also wanted to set fire to the jungle, because she didn't seem to understand the concept of setting fire to the jungle doesn't work.
Yeah, you just. I remember you telling me about this. It was like a rainforest. Like,
right.
It was raining probably. So,
yeah. Well, she killed, like, she says she wants to kill him. I was like, you can't do that. She's like, why? I was like, because there's 40,000, there's like tons and tons of like soldiers coming. They'll see you. She's like, well, I'm going to hide in the trees and stuff. You said it's like a jungle. I'm going to hide in the trees. I'm like, you're not the predator. It's not going to work. So.
What was her character type? Was she like a rogue, or was she
a
wizard?
We use like WoW characters. We use we use like World Warcraft like classes
rules?
And stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And I can't remember what she was. No. What was she? It was an infiltrator. She was an infiltrator of all things. And she was supposed to have like all these like really high stats and like gather information and shit like that. And she would never use them. Like she would just go around and just kill and keep going and stuff.
Yeah, she used her gather information. What she would essentially do is, anytime we went anywhere, she would go into a town. She'd be like, well, I've got the gather information ability, so do I know any of these people? Like, do I recognize anyone? Like, she wouldn't, like, try to role play. She would just, like, ask Cody.
Like Facebook for D&D.
Yeah, exactly. That's why she'd be like, so do I know any of these people?
Are they my friends?
Like, if we went to, like, an inn, she would, like, okay, so I'm looking at, like, the ledger at the inn. Do I, like, recognize a name? Do I, like, know anything?
She wasn't smart enough to do that one, though.
Did she look in a Valley Girl? That sort of...
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So,
Oh my God.
she, like... I tried to tell her, I said to her, I was like, you cannot go and kill a guy and then drag him off and put on his clothes. It won't work. It doesn't, it doesn't
Right,
make
if they're
sense.
all on one mass
Right.
troop, I mean, unless there's isolated
She
characters.
throws her hands up and she goes, fine, someone fucking stabs me and I die. Are you happy? And then she crosses her arms and starts getting tears in her eyes.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. I realized then I don't want to play with her ever again. Ever.
Okay.
But since there's the Mutants and Mastermind story coming up, I assume you did.
Right.
Didn't take anything.
Well, see, I lived with her at the time, so I couldn't like just leave the house with like my dice and like stuff, and then she's like, "Where are you going?" "Oh, nowhere." You know.
Did you get laid?
Yeah.
It's just the different type of role playing.
Right. So anyway, I started doing Mutants and Masterminds because I'm a huge comic book fan. I just wanted to try like writing out like different comic stories and stuff that I had, and that was a whole group of just like that. Out of like I think we had 6 people in that. Yeah, we had 6 people in that. Jared was there. He never showed up. He played one game with us. His power was to he was
into rocks.
Right, no. He was essentially absorbing man,
right?
Like from the Marvel U, but he like there was no limitation on his powers. It was really ridiculous. Like it was, and he also had
the rules, in other words.
Yeah, and he had like drug habit and stuff. It was really stupid. But he showed up for like one game and then never showed up again. Don't eat all of them. But anyway, and he goes, But then there was Tim, and I love Tim to death. Tim's a wonderful person.
Tim's the one who, the same Tim.
Asian Tim. Yeah. Tim's character, like he's really really good at like figuring out loopholes and shit,
right.
And he ended up making a character that can walk into a room and end up like getting out. Like he carried like guns, but
he
like
could phase through walls.
Yeah.
He could carry like 6 guns, and each gun could shoot like a billion times.
He could legitimately get off 4 shots per round.
Right.
So he would walk into a room of henchmen, kill off all the henchmen that I had, and then go after the main guy. Like I mean, it was terrible. He was so overpowered. But he actually did role play, so he was okay. He was fine.
And he wanted to have knives on the ends of his pistols. God, I hated him. I hated him so much.
Why don't we take a stop? Bayonet pistols?
Yes!
Right.
It didn't make any sense, and he made me mad!
So the gun o' knife Obamatron kind of
Something
thing.
like that. Well, why don't we take this up for a second and talk about like both your view. Like, for one thing, I want to know is like all these D&D games, these He-Man games, especially. Did you really have fun in them? I mean, really, like aside from Jessica, was the game fun outside of it? Because
I had a good time because she wasn't developing her character, so I did it for her. So I was like, I mean, she was doing all of the actions and things, but like her character was, I mean, of course she was She-Ra, and I like did a lot with her character to make it like it was cool in my own head, and like I had a lot of good things like with story, and really the story wasn't about her. She was just sort of a side character because my friend Andy had a character that was really, really good, and Sam's character was great. There was a lot of subtleties to her character that only she and I
so really,
knew.
she was like she and Jared were like the 2 sore spots of the campaign.
Right.
But other than that, it was good.
Yeah, it was a good campaign. Otherwise, like I mean, because like I said, it wasn't really like I would play Jessica's character, and then I would just like play off of Sam and Andy.
Right.
And I legitimately think that those He-Man rounds were some of the best rounds of my life. Like I mean, they were legitimately fun.
So I mean, that's a sense you'd already by that point figured out how to deal with bad players in some ways. I mean, you can sort of isolate them to a certain extent, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing about her during that time, at least, is that Jessica was ridiculous, and basically, I mean, she was essentially useless in every single round, so you didn't have to really worry about her doing anything.
Okay.
Like, she wouldn't fuck anything up too bad, but she wouldn't do anything to help out the team
just
either.
the occasional boneheaded maneuver that made everybody, you know,
groan. Yeah. I mean, she was
just throw a hissy fit.
Yeah, I mean, she like her. how she played her character wasn't nearly as bad as having to deal with her in real life. Like, you know,
Oh yeah.
is that she was just really kind of hard. Like, if she didn't get her way, she would feel like I was paying attention to other players instead of her, and
Right.
she acted like I didn't care about her character when in fact, like, I really legitimately liked her character. It's just I didn't like how she played it. You know?
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, that's sort of the important thing. I mean, that people say, oh, you shouldn't play with bad players or whatever, but in some cases that you can deal with one bad player. I think you shouldn't necessarily give up a game or cancel something just because of one bad apple. I think it's and even to a certain extent, you sort of either learned how to avoid her bad playing and keep it from contaminating the rest of the game for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that's the key here.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
and it makes you appreciate the good players even more.
Yeah, and I would tell Andy every night. We'd go off and talk amongst ourselves because he would do all the character creation stuff and I'd do all the DMing, and we would kind of talk about how the story was going. And he and I kind of formulated the story together, but he didn't ever know what was going on. We would just kind of talk things over and stuff, and like those were the really fun moments because he's such a great role player. Like he's really really good at it.
Right.
For how like horrible she is, like that's how great he is, and Sam's great too because like I mean, it's because
it's up to the girlfriend.
No, but seriously, like her character in the He-Man round was like very very subtle, and a lot of people just didn't get her,
right? Because
like there was just all these little like nuances to her, like. When they went and like were facing this undead king and shit like that, like everyone wanted to fight their way out, they wanted to kill their way out, but she sacrificed like part of her soul to him. She was the only person that actually thought about trying to do something differently, and it caught me off guard as a DM because I was planning this huge battle.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, for every like horrible character, there's always at least two people.
So yeah, I think that again, that's sort of the big thing to take away from this part is that a bad player isn't necessarily the end. It's the learning how to deal with them, learning how to keep the game good. Focus on the game and don't agonize over a single bad apple unless they're psychotically bad. Which now let's go back to the Mutants and Masterminds. It sounds like she got worse as time went on.
Yeah, Mutants and Masterminds was actually what actually almost made me stop playing role playing games altogether. Because it was.
Was it just her, or was it Jared as well?
Well, first off, I don't like the system. So
Tom's not gonna like it.
Well, I mean, no offense. I mean, like we didn't.
No, man, it's.
Like we did. I don't think that I had a good round with somebody that knew how to play it. And my problem was that there was a lot of guessing game, and I think that's also just on my part of being just a bad DM sometimes.
So you were also doing first edition, right?
Yeah. Well, and we had a mix of first and second edition.
Actually, dude, if we're talking about the first edition, I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, totally. We downloaded an update of the second edition and mixed it with the first edition, so it was really confusing.
Yeah, don't do that. Just get second edition.
Yeah.
Rule. There's always people talk about, Rule 0. It's your game. Do whatever you want. Well, the rules that are written, you can't.
Yeah,
make
like
them
they
all.
updated. They updated the first edition for a reason, and
Good
they wrote
rules go a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
The battle system was very very. It's very open to interpretation because there's no hit points.
Yeah.
So it's like it's
just the damage saves.
Right. And it's really open to interpretation as to how bad something was. And so like I had to agonize over shit like that, but like the character like Jessica decided
this is
like
my favorite story
like
ever.
Here's the thing is that everyone had come up with these really great characters. Sam's character was based off of Mega Man in a way.
Yes,
like she was a super fighting robot. And,
you can't have an RPG without ripping off some, piece of sci-fi, video game, fantasy, or something.
But like, what was funny is she was trying to emulate human beings. Like she would go around and there's a lot of subtle nuances to that character as well.
Right.
Okay. Really cool. Like that.
Tried
character.
and true archetype.
Right.
Yeah.
My current roommate now is his character. Andy's character's name was Peter Long. He was the guy that can multiply himself and all of his stats and skills were based on trying to get himself laid. So he had a really high spot check so he could scope out the ladies. He had immunity to disease so he could never get any STDs. He would like make multiple versions of himself so he could like get into orgies with himself with all these women and stuff. And
does it count if it's yourself?
Yeah.
Is it gay if it's yourself?
No, it's not. So he also had like a high pheromone, and like he had this really weird pheromone that made women just automatically attracted to him. This comes into play much later, but he
keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Yes.
Foreshadowing. So he was like, you know, he put a lot of thought into his character, and he was always on. He was always his character. I mean, he never tried to play like the super heroic guy. He was a guy trying to get laid, but not in like an annoying way.
Right.
You know, and everyone had come up with like, you know, pretty good characters. And then I asked Jessica, I was like, so what do you want to do with your character? And she goes, I want to make my character the Witchblade. And she said it just like that. I'm
Seriously?
not joking. She would go, I'm going to be the Witchblade.
Because Jessica spent hours on Wikipedia researching the most ridiculous female superheroes she could possibly find, and she came up with the Witchblade.
Was she even a fan of the comic or
No!
She never fucking read the comic. Like she wanted
Thank you, Wikipedia.
She wanted to be Miss Marvel from the Marvel
70s?
universe. Yeah, like the
Okay,
blonde-haired one and stuff like that.
Oh, she's got a new comic out.
Yeah.
Anyways.
She wanted.
Yes.
She
We
wanted
digress.
to. Yeah,
But instead, she chose the Witchblade.
and
Because she wears less clothing.
Seriously, is that her reason?
no.
That's just speculation.
Side note. When she says the word Witchblade, that's also
Witchblade.
that's also how she says the movie. She came home one day and she goes, guess what movie I bought? And I go, what movie did you buy? She goes, Stir of Echoes.
Kevin
And Stir of Echoes? Who gives a fuck? You know? Okay, but anyway.
It was a good movie.
Okay, yeah, but still. But okay.
Echo.
Back to Witchblade though.
Yes.
Back to Witchblade.
Serious business.
Okay, so she was like, she wanted to be the Witchblade, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then when we were doing actual character creation, she was like, she goes, well, I want my character to fly. Okay, well, you're gonna have to put points in flying. Okay, well, I want my character to have swords as well. Okay, well, you're gonna have to put points in that. Then she goes, okay, well, and my character has to have like this incredible armor because like the Witchblade is armor, and it can come on automatically because it's the Witchblade and it senses when I'm in danger. And she's like listing off all this stuff, and like she doesn't have the points to spend on that. She
Right.
can't do it. Like you can't make that character.
But you know,
Right.
I want to be God's roommate.
Right. Right.
Yeah, God's hard to do with power level 10 to start.
Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly. But she tried so hard, and she would get so pissed off because we wouldn't give her everything that she wanted because she wanted the Witchblade.
And she also didn't understand that, like, none of us had, like, all of us had just had to gotten the book and had to figure out how to create
only had the
characters
one
on our
copy
own.
of it.
Yeah. And we had to figure out how to create characters on our own. And so we just learned how to do this. And then she expected us to teach her how to do it.
Yeah, she would shove the book at people, and go, or no, like Tim said to her, he goes,
Witchblade.
yeah, like Tim said to her, he goes, well, she goes, what does this thing mean? And he goes, I don't know, you have the book. And she goes, and she passed the book to him and shoved it in his face. And he goes, okay, I'll read it to you. So he had to like read the fucking description to her and explain it to her because like she is illiterate. But
Well, wait.
I'm not making fun of literate
Not everybody
listeners.
would know what Mutants and Masterminds is. Just for a reference point, Power Level 10. What superhero or super character would you consider Power Level 10 about? I mean, I'm thinking Cannonball before he went all crazy.
Yeah, I would go there.
The New Warriors.
I would say any like
Robin is even more than Power Level 10.
I would say like any like B-list like superhero you can possibly think. Anybody that was on like the Justice League International
Well,
Justice
the
League era.
Centurion, their Superman is power level 16.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so-
Well, see, I would say like Booster Gold or like Blue Beetle
Boost, yeah.
or like you know.
Before or after he got shot?
Well, yeah. No, we don't have to bring up Ted's death. Like, but anyway.
Oh, I hit a sword.
You know, no, you did, because I did. I cried when Ted died. I'm not gonna lie. Actually,
You cried
my dad.
commercials.
Well, my dad was in Iraq at the time, and I had called him, and I was like, Dad, the Blue Beetle died, and he goes,
So did a bunch of
yeah,
Iraqis.
he's like, there's shit bombing all around me. I was like, Dad, the Blue Beetle Will died. He's like, God damn it, boy.
Cody cries in sad songs.
I do. But anyway, back to Witchblade.
Okay, so now that we know,
Right.
basically Booster Gold,
right.
Witchblade.
But she essentially wanted like a godlike character, and anytime like I start a new game with people, I try to tell them automatically, think about what your backstory is before we actually even start it. I want think about who your family is, think about like and especially this one, because I wanted everyone to have like, okay, well, who's your family? Why is it important for you to have a secret identity? Do you have a secret identity? Like, I wanted to work with that. And she saw what I did with He-Man and saw that I could take pop culture and like and weave it around to make it like this really kind of cool storyline. And so one day she like came up to me, and I had noticed on her history on the internet that there was a lot of Wikipedia articles. I was like, oh, God help. So she came up to me and she goes, hey, I came up with a really great idea for my backstory. I go, okay, well, what's that? She goes, my dad is Indiana Jones. And I go, what? What the fuck did you just say to me? She goes, my dad's Indiana Jones. And I go, that's fucking... I go, okay, explain that. She goes, well, I just thought that'd be kind of cool. I'm like, I guess, kind of. I go, but wouldn't that make your character like 60 or something like that? Like, I mean, like logically, like timeline-wise?
Of course, 1 point for immunity aging. We could do that.
Right. Well, yeah, and she did that. She actually did that. She weaved it around to where she was immortal when she took the Witchblade off or something like that. But she never took the Witchblade off, so it didn't make any sense. And so she I like 3 days later I come home from like school or something, and she goes, "Hey, I have my origin story typed up. I want you to read it."
Uh-oh. That's a warning sign.
Yeah. Right.
So you know.
Yeah. I go, okay, good. So I sat down, and I was reading this just atrociously, like, ungrammatical, like, just piece of shit. And I'm an English major, so you can kind of, like, empathize with me. But right. But anyway. So she, the story is that Indiana Jones decides that he is going to go back and marry Willie, the bitch from the second movie, Temple of Doom, blonde-haired bitch. So, like, which doesn't make any sense to me. I thought Marion was much better, like Leia, but anyway. So he goes and marries fucking Willie from Temple of Doom, and they have two daughters. They're twins. Right. One of them is Jessica's character, and she apparently has a twin sister.
All right.
Okay. I'm like, okay, comic book motif. I can accept that. That's fine. So Indiana Jones ends up like his family gets kidnapped by Nazis because the Nazis are fucking like they hate Indiana Jones.
Well,
like,
to be fair, they do hate Indiana Jones.
No, they do, and I gave her the benefit of the doubt on that. And what they're doing now is they're trying to find this mystical like gauntlet that is one of
the Infinity.
No, the Witchblade, which is one of the 9 like relics of Christ, is what she said. No. Right. I'm not joking. It was like
Jesus, the Witchblade.
Yeah.
Jesus loved its sword of Jesus.
Yes, the sword of Jesus.
The Jesus scimitar.
Yeah, we came up with Jesus scimitar as her arch nemesis.
No, it would be a katana. Christ is cooler than that.
Right.
Yes, it would be.
But
the Christ katana.
But Christana. Holy Christana. But okay, so
I think there's an order of Jesuit ninjas.
So she decides that she wants to go and do that. So the Nazis go and they kidnap Indiana's family, and they tell them, they're like, well, if you want your family, you have to help us recover like this like gauntlet. And apparently Indiana Jones had already had it or something like that. He had it in his possession somehow. But anyway. So this is the death trap that the Nazis come up with. They put fucking Sean Connery, Willie from Temple of Doom, and Jessica's character in a bucket over a well.
Wait, Sean Connery? I thouat that was Indiana Jones's dad.
Yeah, that's Indiana Jones's dad. Yeah, he lives with them because of bad hospice care. Like they needed it.
He disappears fast.
Right. He had hurt his hip, and they had to.
By Nazis.
Right, clearly. So they're all in this bucket about I can't imagine how big this fucking bucket is.
More of a tub, I would imagine.
Right. So it's this huge bucket over this well.
barrel.
Yeah, over this well, and Jessica's twin sister, who's 12 at this time, they're both 12 years old or something, is holding the rope that is keeping their bucket over the well. But the rope is made of barbed wire.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, wait, yes, she's 12 years old.
And she can hold a 78-year-old man, a grown woman, and her 12-year-old sister. I had problems with that as well.
Well, it's also that the first Indiana Jones movie is 1936.
Yeah, no.
The Nazis would be long gone now.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, again, it didn't make sense. This takes,
Hey, Nazis are still around now.
Yeah, exactly.
well, neo-Nazis.
No, the South American Nazis.
If she was born in 36, that would be 48.
Well, it said that she was born in 1940s or something like that, and this took place in the 50s. She had said that, it said there that it took place in the 50s.
We shouldn't question it too much, otherwise we'll delve into madness ourselves.
Right.
The Necronomicon.
That's what I'm saying.
That way lies madness.
All right, that's what I'm saying. Is that okay? So, Grandpa Willie and Jessica in a big old bucket above this well with a barbed wire rope holding them up. And the barbed wire is cutting into the little girl's hands and stuff, and she lets go of it, and the bucket falls into the well, and it kills Sean Connery and kills the mom. But Jessica, used their bodies to shield her so she wouldn't die. It said it.
A true player character.
Right.
I can tell you that.
So then she says that she had to climb up the rope with her hands, and the barbed wire was eating in her hands, which immediately I said to her afterward, that doesn't make any sense. How'd she climb out of the well when there's no slack for the rope? It fell down with you.
Wire.
Yeah.
No,
So really, I mean,
Well, no,
but it fell.
Yeah.
But it fell. I'm saying
But it's stiff. It's barbed wire.
But she dropped it.
But there's nothing the other end is anchored to.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
At the top, there's nothing that.
No one's holding it. She can't climb on it because it's all down there in the well
I
with her.
assume since the other sister would let go, that she wouldn't be able to pick it back up. Oh, this is alive.
Right.
Could be tied off.
No,
Again,
it's not.
we're delving into math.
Anyway.
We should.
So
True, we have.
So she climbs all the way back up, and then she goes and finds her dad, and her sister is nowhere to be found or something like that. I think
She'll probably become a Nazi.
Yeah. See, I was gonna write her in to do something. I can't remember what I was gonna do with her now,
Vampire
but
Nazi.
yeah.
Blood rain.
Sorceress.
As directed by Uwe Boll,
Right. Yeah. Yes.
the true villain.
So she ends up going in, and she sees that his eye, Indiana's eye, gets cut out because
He becomes dead.
no.
Maybe Jessica is really an avant-garde experimental performance artist, and
Right.
you're just all part of some joke she's selling
Right.
to the art world.
Well,
This is the most in-depth character background.
But they cut his eye out. They cut his eye out because if you watch Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, he doesn't have an eye whenever he's older. He's got an eye patch, and she saw that on Wikipedia, so she decided to fill in the blanks. I'm not joking. This is what I've figured out.
We didn't accuse you of joking.
No, I know. Okay. So anyway, I read it, and I don't even know what to say because you're like, how do you tell someone that this is just absolutely fucking horrible, without hurting her feelings, And so I just said to her, I go, okay, that's fine, whatever. I mean, that's your story. And it was going to end up working in the overall realm of this story because I was going to talk about how the multiverse was collapsing and how someone from the
History was being rewritten, so that made
right, and that the Top Cow universe started mixing in with the other universe, and I ended up
Barbera universe is being a bitch.
right, and eventually I included Barry Allen into the story too because Barry Allen's this lost soul that always disappears because he's one of the greatest Flashes ever. But anyway, so Anyway, her character, she said beforehand that her character was the balance between good and evil, and that she has to go and kill evil and stuff so that she can make it balanced again. To which we responded, well, what happens whenever you tip the balance the other way and there's too much good in the world? And she goes, oh, that will never happen because that's just,
Right.
And I was going to actually include it to the point where, no, it does happen and you have to kill your own teammates, but she never got around to that.
Must be a pretty good world, though. I mean, genocide, slavery, poverty, racism, all that's been erased except for those fucking superheroes.
Right. So she decides that she so like the problem is that her character does lethal damage, so she goes around and stops anybody, she's gonna kill him. So obviously non-hero like these characters aren't the Punisher. I tried to do a mix of Four Color World and like a Grim and Gritty world, and I was trying to do like a combination of the two. It's like, you know, if you're a hero, you're not going to kill anybody, you know. So very first game, very first round, all the heroes meet up at this other hero's funeral. This is the first time they're going to meet. Villains show up, crash the funeral. She goes up to one of the main boss characters that was going to be a recurring character throughout the story, and she fucking cuts his head off. She killed him. She killed my fucking NPC main villain that was going to show up for the rest of the game.
You didn't learn the Doctor Doom lesson, which is if the villain dies, it's not the villain, it's a robot double.
Right. I was going to do a clone.
Employ the GM Fiat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, he teleports away.
Yeah, I thought about it. Like, I ended up doing clones instead. It was going to be a clone, but like, clones work. It's a comic book world.
I mean, to be honest, that's very in genre for a comic book.
Right. So she kills him, and everyone hates her and stuff like that. And then like for the next 2 or 3 games, she's just really confrontational with everybody, and no one gets along with her. And I liked that aspect of it because like. Right.
Like it upset her because she didn't like that everyone was pissed off at her for killing everyone that we came in contact with. So she eventually decided to write a new character.
Yeah. So like I mean, it's like Sam said is that she was so upset by everyone like picking on her all the time and like talking shit to her and stuff that she decided to make a new character. So she gets on Wiki again. She gets on Wikipedia and
damn it, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
No, she lives on Wikipedia.
Yeah. So she goes through and she's like researching again, and she comes up to me and she goes, "Okay, I have a new character. Okay, what's your character?" I based her off of Wolfsbane. And I was like, oh, Wolfsbane, eh? Fucking X Factor, X Force reject. Like, good.
Is that the Irish one, or is that the...
It's Wolverine.
No, it's like Chick Wolverine. Like, that's it. All right, her only power was enhanced sense of smell. She could smell things really, really well. Right. That was her power. Fucking ridiculous, horrible power. Okay, and again, she has claws, so she does lethal damage. So if she fights anyone, she will kill them again. And she doesn't ever get that. She doesn't understand it. So then she tells me, she goes, I have an idea of who my father is. Oh, do you? Who's your father? She goes, it's Lion-O and Cheetara from the Thundercats. Oh my god, you make me hate pop culture. You make me hate what we do. So...
Your pain is our gain.
And probably this is the biggest moment where I realized she doesn't know how to roleplay, and I never want to play with her again. This is the moment I realized it.
The turning point.
Right.
Yeah.
They get to a bar. Like the opening scene is a bar of superheroes and supervillains. Common motif. There is Peter Long, my friend Andy's character, who has
Super
lots of
sexy.
sex. Right. Always has a one-liner. He's drunk at the bar. There's 5 clones of him, also drunk, going around and hitting on women and stuff like that. Jessica's character is in the bar, and she has super enhanced sense of smell. What we have here is 5 clones of one guy who all have the same abilities, so they are leaking their pheromones. So, being that she's an animal character and she has super sense of smell, she should be going like fucking horny as shit. Like, she's smelling his pheromones. She should be humping his leg right now. I mean,
At least make a will save to resist it.
Right. She should have done something, you know. So I said to her, I go, you're really horny right now. And she goes, no, I'm not. And I go, no, your character has to be. And she goes, no. I go, you're an animal-based character. You are from Thundara. You have, you're an animal-based character. You would want to have sex with him right now. And she goes, no, I'm more human than I am animal. You know, and she's saying all of this stuff so she can just justify that. She thinks that having sex with Andy in the game means that she's having sex with Andy in real life. You know, as she couldn't put that out there. She couldn't realize that there's a difference, you know, which was a major problem with it. So then the next day, oh wait.
No, say the best line ever. That's my favorite part.
Oh, you go ahead because I don't remember.
She's like, well, I'd really be thinking about what.
Oh no, that comes later.
That comes later.
I'll let you do it, but that comes later.
I really thought that was the
Okay.
same line.
Yeah. No, it was the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the next day. But I have to tell about like the one thing she contributed to this entire game. Okay, so all the characters go outside because this one chick is going crazy and stuff. They have to follow her outside, and they have to go and protect her. And they go outside, and like it's a really fooly-cooly moment where she like pulls out this like monster out of her head, like there's a vortex in her head and stuff. I stole it from Fooly Cooley, but I don't care. And there's this giant like Morrisonian monster, this Grant Morrisonian monster. And I specifically designed him to be like something you would see in Doom Patrol, like really kind of this fucked up. You have no idea what. And the things that offends him, like he'll kill people that do things that offend him, and the things that happen to offend him is people that drink water. So this person's drinking water, so he goes over and he's like gonna kill him and shit like that, you know. And I just did it because it's like I just want to end this fucking game. I was like, just trying to do something. So he's like killing all of them, and everyone's fighting him and stuff. And they knock him down, and he presses something on his arm, and it's supposed to be a Predator moment where like he's gonna self-destruct and he's gonna blow up. And so Tim goes over. He's an electronics expert. He's trying to figure. No. Sam goes over and she's trying to fix it. And she's trying to because she's a robot. She tries. Yeah, she tries to shut it down. It won't shut down. Oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And Jessica goes, "I've got it." I'm like, okay, and she runs off. Like, all right. She goes back into the bar and she says to the bartender, she goes, I need a pitcher of water. And the guy goes, and like I mean, me as the DM, I go, okay, you get a pitcher of water. Write it down in your inventory. But so then she runs back out there and she dumps the water onto the guy's like thing, and I go, congratulations, you have made his bomb wet. And she goes, it didn't do anything? It didn't like short circuit it? And I go, no. Why would it do that? This guy's from a fifth parallel dimension fighting the lunar linear church. Like, I just randomly mashed words together because that's what Morrison would do.
Well, he would be on drugs.
Right. And so she got so pissed off and she wanted to kill me because like I wouldn't like let her save the day through that, you know, whatever. And she also got pissed off because everyone left the bar without her. And I said to her, "You're a new character. Your character doesn't know any of them. She doesn't fucking know any of them. Like, why would that happen? You know, total stupid bitch." Next day. She says, I said to her, I go, I finally had to confront her. I go, right. I said to her, I was like, you have to play your character. You didn't play it correctly last night. And I think that's bullshit. I think you should have, like, tried to have sex with Andy. Because it's not real life. It's just a fucking game. And then she says this.
Well, I mean, my character, like, she would be thinking about, you know, like, whether or not, like, he'd obviously been drinking and, like, whether or not I'm on birth control or whether or not he's got a condom, like, because I mean, like, I don't want to get pregnant. I was like, that's just ridiculous.
That's how she justified it. Is that well, my character thinks, well, I'm not on birth control and he probably doesn't have a condom, so I'm not going to have sex with him.
Which we all know is exactly what animals are thinking.
Yes,
right.
The presence of pheromones that make
cat women don't take birth control, and they have to have condoms, and they do not have sex with drunk men. So that's the way it works. They don't want to have their litters.
Sorry to disappoint you, all you anime geeks out there, but that's the truth.
That's the way it works.
Those cat girls, yeah, they're prudes.
They're prudes. Cat women are prudes.
They're teasers.
They're not nearly as loose as those internet cat girls. That's just all animated.
That's
that ain't
all
real.
fake anyway.
That's not. Yeah,
that's not real.
They're not like real cat women, you know.
All right. Well, it sounds a pretty classic story of, you know, the introduction of a bad player, dealing with it, managing it, and then realizing that you can't fundamentally change a player like that. Yeah. If they aren't introspective, if they're not really engaged in the game, wanting to change. If they don't want to change, they're not going to change.
No.
And so I think you did the right thing. I mean, overall.
Well, and I moved out of her house this summer.
That helps too.
Yeah, and when I moved out, I moved in with Andy, and he and I ran a D&D game for a little while, and then like schedules got all like screwed up, so we couldn't play it. But I actually asked Tim. I go, should I invite Jessica? He goes, no. Fuck no. And we never did, and
the world's been a better place.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, and she gets so pissed off when I tell her, like, she'll come over on Thursday nights every once in a while, and I'm like, well, I gotta go to my friend Ross's. We're gonna go and play some like role playing games and stuff. And she's like, okay. well, fine, go have fun. I'm like, I'm not going to invite you. I can't do it. You're so annoying.
We'll be back in just a second. So we're back, and I'd like to just go everyone's reactions and sort of talk overall about what to do with bad players. I mean, we've sort of talked about the main strategies are to educate, try and break them of their habits, and then to isolate, either minimize their impact in the game if the game is fun otherwise, or just cut them out entirely. And there's a lot of issues both in-game and out-of-game. I mean, when you have a player who, is close in real life, so you can't just isolate them entirely, then that's another set of issues. So I'm going to just go around and get everyone's thoughts on the subject. Tom?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it depends on a number of factors. First of all is how merciful you are. Some people want to keep giving them another chance and another chance. And, if you have a pretty draconian GM, then, one fuck up. I've had GMs where one fuck up, you're out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like it was almost like
be gone by now.
No, clearly.
I would never play.
Yeah, I mean, that guy. I didn't game with him much.
Squiggle you're talking about?
Squiggy, yeah, that was another thing. Yeah, that was another. Yeah, that was another. Yeah, that was another thing. Yeah, that was one thing. Another thing he did. I just forgot to mention last time was he was very judgmental of players. If you did one thing that annoyed him, he'd give you the one stern way. All right, enough bullshit. All right, we're playing a game here. This is. He wouldn't go as far as this is serious. Like, we're playing a game here. We're not fucking around. And
this isn't supposed to be fun, goddammit. We're trying to deal with serious social issues in the world of gaming and World of Warcraft.
And but if you fucked up again, you were gone. Of course, he only there was this little core group that they could fuck around all they wanted.
Oh, okay.
But
favoritism.
Yeah, but and also it depends on how distracting they are. I mean, if you can have an annoying player, but as long as they just kind of sit in the back and
like Jessica was earlier.
Yeah, just like she was earlier. You can get around that. If you've got really good players, you can even have a really annoying bad player and still have things be okay. It all depends on what the group is itself.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to judge is how distracting the bad player is and how they're detracting from everyone else.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note it's okay to have a bad player in the game if it's still fun, and it's okay to kick someone out. Don't feel like you have to include everyone in a game. I mean, if no one's having fun or if everyone's getting pissed off because of one player, kick them out. I mean, it's a little socially awkward to do it, but, I mean, come on, it's okay to do it. You have our permission to do it.
You gotta man up.
Exactly. And on the other hand, you don't have to kick out a player if he's being a little bitch or she's being, a little bitch or whatever. If everyone else is having fun, it just depends on, again, the whole point of the game is to have fun and do whatever it takes to do that without, killing people in real life. Because that's just, Anyways.
How I feel about it is that obviously you're not going to play with total strangers. You're going to play with your friends. So it's, like you said, it's socially awkward. It's awkward to try and kick somebody out, And I would have a hard time telling someone you can't come back again because you suck and you make everyone awkward. I feel like you can't teach someone to act and you can't teach someone to role play. Like, she doesn't have a creative aspect in her. She has maybe an idiot savant kind of creative aspect, but she doesn't have an acting aspect to her. So therefore she's not going to be a good role player. So the only thing you can do is try and work with her character or work with someone's character as much as you can to try and make that character fun and interesting. And if they are crazy and they do say fucked up shit and they threaten people, which I forgot to mention that Jessica actually choked my friend Tim in the middle of a round once. That's a true story. But good.
Okay, yeah. Physical assault of other players should be a big warning sign.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. And that was during the Mutants and Masterminds game, so that's kind of that was when things were tumbling apart. But if it gets really that bad, I guess we probably should have kicked her out just because it was getting she was getting too emotionally involved into it. Is I think it comes down to that it's just so hard to tell a friend that I like hanging out with you, but you can't play games with us anymore. Like,
well, you don't have to. You could frame it easy. It's just
right.
It's not working out. The other play, that's a good point. I mean, it's hard to do that. So try and not make it confrontational, saying it's just not working out. I mean, I'm not saying anything about you as a friend. We'll still hang out, but I'm not having fun. You're not having fun.
Yeah.
The other players aren't having fun. So why don't we just quit while we're ahead?
And I think the thing about her though is that even though like she was ridiculous, I still had fun with other people, and I can still tell like these amazingly insane, awkward stories for a very long time, and I think that I have at least that for me that I got.
See, you have your scars.
Yeah.
I think what also works is if you stop telling them what time you're meeting.
It's a little passive aggressive, but I mean, at least in the short term,
No,
it can work.
that's Cody with a capital, capital C.
That's just the way I roll.
Yeah, passive aggressive I think is a really good way to do it. Really, I mean, honestly, I mean, I know it sounds terrible, but just. I
mean, yeah, if you're not really ready to do the direct confrontational thing,
yeah.
I mean.
Ross
it's a little
judging
tricky.
us.
Yeah,
Be a chicken shit. That's from my household. Be a chicken shit. Fuck them. Don't tell them. What are you doing tonight? Just gonna go shove dice in my ass at my friend's house. You wouldn't like it.
We're recording it for the internet. Okay,
Yeah.
we get paid.
You wouldn't like it. No, I would. Where's it on the internet? Damn it. God, she doesn't take a hint.
Yeah, it's like, it's a little thing we do. We're online, I'm shoving dice up my ass, and each time a person can click a button, I have to put another die in my ass, like that movie coming out.
Thanks, there's a movie coming out, apparently. Die in your ass.
You know what I mean.
Ass die. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I took
there's a
passive.
variety of approaches, but I mean, the overall thing is remember to have fun and do what you can. I mean, whatever approach you can take, any of these approaches you can take to help a player out or to help the game out is worth trying. And again, if you have a problem with someone, contact us and we'll try to help you out. And if we can't help you, we'll make fun of you. So there's that too.
This topic reminds me of, and I don't know if you sent me the link or if I found it on my own. There was some website, and I'm sorry, I'm not giving credit to who this is. I apologize, but it was like they had like a thread that was like worst role playing experience.
Oh yeah, I sent that. It was,
okay,
vitriolic therapy. The
right.
list of worst sessions you've ever played in.
Right.
And it's like 16, 17 pages on rpg.net right now. I'll put the link on our website.
Yeah,
it's very entertaining and very
the Star Wars one was the one that got me, like that.
It's like how cool Han Solo was. And
yeah, like Han Solo.
Darth Vader was just one player was Darth Vader, and he only got to play at the end when Han Solo, who was super cool, killed him in one round of combat.
Right, and the Millennium Falcon ended up blowing up like a Star Destroyer on its own or some like shit like that. And there's another one. There was one that was like on physical abuse, like this like. I can't remember exactly the context of it. Like they were all sitting there like playing RPGs.
And the husband punches the wife in the nose.
Punched his wife in the face.
And nobody says anything except the player who wrote the story, who just like got up and left. And
then his girlfriend got pissed at him.
Yeah.
Like for leaving and said it was rude. Like that was
some
classic.
people are just fucked up.
Yeah. I just think it's funny.
Speaking of that, we'll be back in a second with Tom and his letters.
Dear Call of Cthulhu investigators, while I feel that I am certainly ill-qualified to offer career advice, as I am currently working a dead-end job in a craft store for minimum wage, I can't help but wonder what possessed you to take up the job of investigator. It certainly wasn't for the normal reasons of chicks, money, and power. The only women attracted to grizzled private investigators are the type who are looking to thrill fuck an unstable person. It can't be the money, as it is a certainty that you barely make enough to pay the rent on your shabby office and keep up with your bourbon supply. And it certainly can't be the power because, well, let's face it, you don't have any. So, what could it be that would drive someone to become a mythos investigator? I can understand if you didn't plan on things happening this way. Maybe you truly wanted to follow cheating spouses and follow kids around for their parents to make sure they weren't banging that street trash girl he brought home for Thanksgiving. But the moment your mind was open to the crawling horror that lurks just underneath the surface of known reality, shouldn't that be a sign to give up this job before you go completely insane and hang yourself after writing a rambling account of everything your fragile mind has seen in your own feces? I know, the job has some perks. You get to travel to exotic places, meet interesting people, and possibly uncover tomes of power that will let you harness powers that man was not meant to understand. Travel is great, but the places this job takes you may be exotic, but not like paradise exotic. The exotic places you get to travel to as a mythos investigator involve barren wilderness crawling with things that want to kill you, or run-down tenements in large cities where the tenants only wish the strange scratching in the walls were just rats. The people you meet might be interesting, but chances are they are insane cultists waiting for the right moment to offer up your intestines and scrotal sac to Azathoth. And while it might seem cool to harness dark energies for your own ends, you might not want to fire off that cool new explode eyeball spell you learned in that weird book Bound in Human Flesh every 5 minutes. It usually ends up with you suffering a gruesome death right after you crap your pants and lose your mind. And it's quite embarrassing to make your final exit with a deranged mind and a pantload of chili cheese. For those of you who have embarked on the career path of a mythos investigator, might I offer the following pieces of advice. 1. Carry a Tommy gun with you at all times. Even if you are from the 21st century, make sure it's a Tommy gun. 2. While it's a requirement to possess a crate or 20 of construction-grade dynamite, try not to store it in your house or office. The police tend to frown on that kind of thing, so rent a storage unit instead. And finally, if your dreams become filled with alien landscapes and images beyond your ability to comprehend, it's time to think about retirement. Go into a line of work that is safer and less stressful, like coal mining or high steel construction. And if you reach the point where every person you see walking the streets is a cultist in disguise, secretly watching you and waiting for the perfect moment to kill you, fuck it. Go ahead and waste them. Better safe than sorry in this line of work.
And we're back, and Tom's letters reminded Cody of a Call of Cthulhu anecdote with Jessica.
My friend Tim and I went in and bought a Cthulhu fifth
Call of
edition.
Cthulhu main book.
Yeah, that one.
Right.
And so we bought it, and I was telling Jessica about it. I was like, we should play this game. It's like a horror game. I hear it's really fun and stuff like that. And she goes, okay, well, what's it about? And I gave her the basic premise. The more you learn about it, the more you go crazy, and the more you'll eventually die.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I go, all the characters are expendable. It's great, And she says to me, she goes, well, what if I was crazy beforehand? I would be immune to being crazy, wouldn't I? And I go, no, you wouldn't. I go, you go crazy faster. And she's like, well, I'm just saying that if I'm crazy beforehand, then I wouldn't, it wouldn't make me more crazy.
Well, if I'm already dead, then I can't be more dead.
Right. That's essentially it. I'm like, you're right. We're not going to play this game ever.
All right. That's just a great illustration of someone who just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Entertaining in its own right. Anyways.
She had huge boobs, though. That's why we kept her huge boobs.
Thank you.
Her rack. That's why Tim liked her.
All right. Thanks for sharing, Cody.
It is.
Of course, now we have our last segment. So we've already done enough gaming anecdotes for this episode. We won't have any more. But we do have a couple shout-outs. I just finished the Portal computer game from Valve, of course, which is great. And the ending has a great song from Jonathan Colton, who's a songwriter you've probably heard on YouTube videos. He sings these sort of folk songs about zombies and all kinds of fun stuff. And so, Jonathan Colton, you rock, especially your music. I don't know about the rest of you, but yeah. Anyways, Tom, do you have anything?
Well, I've already done this shout out, but I'm going to do it again because I watched George Carlin last Sunday, damn it, and he actually came to our town and made me extremely happy, and I'm still riding the high of that. So, not gaming related, but fuck it, it's George fucking Carlin, man.
Damn straight, Cody.
I'd like to give a shout out to Brian Clevenger. I don't know if I pronounced his last name correctly or not. Guy that does 8-bit theater, wrote the novel Nuclear Age, and has a comic out, Atomic Robo. I'm sure everybody has probably seen at least 8-bit theater, so I'm not going to describe it. So, and if you didn't, then
if by everyone you mean internet nerds,
yeah, that's what I mean by that.
Yeah,
so
those
I
are
mean,
the only people who count.
if you guys are actually even listening to this, I'm pretty sure you've seen 8-bit theater.
Okay,
so,
good point. Good point.
I'm just saying.
All right,
So.
all right. And Sam, you have anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh, shut up, Cody.
How about Jessica? Do you want to give a shout out?
Yes, I'd like to give a shout out to Jessica.
And to Joss Whedon, because Sam likes Joss Whedon.
And thank you, Cody, for making me sound like a big old giant nerd.
Sam likes Buffy and Firefly.
And I suddenly sound like one of those nerdy people that come into my store.
No, I'm just being me. I'm talking like you.
I hate
All
you.
right. All right, loving relationship.
I eated a butter.
I did a bottle.
All right, so that's episode 6 of RPPR, The Bad Player, a roundtable discussion. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back in probably 2 weeks or so. So, see you next time.
Flavor Flav.
Welcome to my secret lair on Skull Crusher Mountain. I hope that you've enjoyed your stay so far. I see you met my assistant Scarface. His appearance is quite disturbing, but I assure you he's harmless enough. He's a sweetheart, calls me master, and he has a way of finding pretty things and bringing them to me. Surprised that you agree. If you could find some way to be a little bit less afraid of me, you'd see the voices that control me from inside my head. Say I shouldn't kill you. I made this half pony, half monkey monster to please you. But I get the feeling that you don't like it. What's with all the screaming? You like monkeys, you like ponies. Maybe you don't like monsters so much. Maybe I used too many monkeys. Isn't it enough to know that I ruined a pony making a gift for you? Oh, and I'm so into you, but I'm way too smart for you. Surprised that you agree. If you could find some way to be a little bit less afraid of me, you'd see the voices that control me from inside my head. Say I shouldn't kill you. Picture the two of us alone inside my golden submarine. While up above the waves, my doomsday squad ignites the atmosphere. And all the fools who lead their foolish lives may find it quite explosive. Well, it won't mean half as much to me if I don't have you here. No, it isn't easy living here on Skull Crusher Mountain. Maybe you could cut me just a little slack. Would it kill you to be civil? I've been patient, I've been gracious, and this mountain is covered with wolves. Hear them howling, my hungry children. Maybe you should stay and have another drink and think about me and you. Oh, and I'm so into you, but I'm way too smart for you. Surprised that you agree. If you could find some way to be a little bit less afraid of me, you'd see the voices that control me from inside.
Hi, this is Ross Payton with the RPPR test. How you guys doing?
His own mic.
Yeah, Tom, you can move the mic over to Cody.
My voice is slightly high pitched.
I sound like a Muppet.
All right,